What's up? Nick Hilton here, and welcome back to another YouTube video. I saw this video on YouTube from Glenn Dewis. It popped up on my recommended, and it was how I made these portraits. And it was like a complete workflow. I really liked the thumbnail, and I was like, hey, those look pretty cool. So I just took a quick look at the video and realized he was just doing a simple clamshell lighting setup with a beauty dish and a reflector underneath. And I was like, hey, you know, that'd be pretty cool to do like just a little self-portrait in my office right here with this white wall. You can probably get the white wall to go pretty dark. And I had just gotten a haircut. Right now it looks really bad, clearly, but it didn't when I took the picture. I don't think, at least. But anyways, he used a beauty dish, which I have one right here lighting me right now. And I was like, okay, I have one. And I honestly didn't even bother to take the constant light out and put in a flash. I was like, well, if it's bright enough to light me right now, it's probably bright enough for the picture. So I used this Godox beauty dish with a Godox SL60. Actually, I think that's a, what is that? That might be a, I don't even know what kind of beauty dish it is. A Glow. I think it's a Glow. Anyways, used it with a Godox SL60. So one thing that's cool about using constant lights is I don't ever use constant lights when I'm shooting, especially, you know, because if I'm not in an indoor controlled setting, you can just get so much more power out of flashes and strobes than you can out of a constant light. Like a constant light that puts out a lot of power is very expensive. You know, it takes more power. But in this setting with my blackout curtains and everything, I was like, let's just do it. And it's cool because, you know, I have my EOS R. I have my EOS R right here, and I have it, you know, connected to my phone. And so I was able to just sit in this chair, backed up a little bit with the 85 millimeter lens on, and I could take the silver reflector, and I was able to just move the silver reflector and my body position and watch it on the phone and kind of see what was happening with the light. And what I did is, because of the hairstyle and because of like what I chose to wear, I ended up putting a grid onto the Glow. There's a grid on it right now. And I was like, okay, you know, he did pretty classic clamshell, except it wasn't tilted at the subject. It was more pointed down, but it still, you know, filled in the eye bags, and the silver reflector underneath filled in the shadows. And I was like, you know, what if we could get a little bit more of a moody feel, almost like a pop punk emo vibe, you know, because I kind of got the little modern mullet going on, and I'm a huge fan of pop punk music. And so I kind of went with this like My Chemical Romance, you know, look. I didn't wear eyeshadow or nothing, but that would have taken it to the next level, let me just tell you. But anyways, so what the grid did is it was like right on the line of that reflector giving me an uplight. Just enough to where it wasn't, though. But what it did was having the grid on it stopped so much light from coming this way and filling in the bags under my eyes and these like, you know, shadows in my eye socket. So doing it with the grid allowed me to keep like this really moody, like dark eyes, you know, dark shadows under here. And I feel like it just really gave a cool look. And again, like I said, I was just kind of, you know, moving around, and I was moving the reflector and just trying different things. And, you know, that's the beauty, like I said, of constant light, but also of just doing self-portraits. Like if you're a photographer, you should be doing self-portraits. I didn't do any of them. I've been a professional photographer for like 7 years now. And this year I've started doing them so much more. And I've realized that it's kind of fun. You throw on some music, you just put yourself in your own space, connect your camera to the app or the phone, and just like shoot on live view. And it just gives you this opportunity to really, you know, try unique lighting scenarios and, you know, do these different looks. And one, it gives you some good self-confidence on yourself because you can get cool photos of yourself, but also you just have no pressure. You can just, you know, you're not wasting anybody else's time. You can move lights around, you can test different things. And so you get good photos of yourself, and of course you're learning and you're experimenting. And I think a lot of photographers, they don't experiment enough. they learn one technique and then that's kind of all they use, because if they're doing paid work, or even unpaid work and they're trading for print, they feel so obligated to get good results that they won't mess up. They won't take the time to mess up. And I feel like with self-portraits, that's like the whole thing is you're sitting here in your room or in any space really, and you are taking the time and allowing yourself to mess up, try things that don't work, and, keep a notebook and jot down things that did work. And then you start building this like arsenal of things and tools that you can then use when shooting with clients. And you'll also find things that were like, hey, that's kind of cool, but when would that ever actually make sense? And like I said, I think that's really cool because you're just doing it by yourself. You're just experimenting. So I would say, try what I did. Try it with the grid. Try it without the grid. Use the reflector. Whatever, you want to do. I saw his portraits and I was like, hey, that's cool. That can make a good like moody portrait if I do it this way. And so, that would be my advice to you is, find a cool lighting setup. Do it as a self-portrait. And then once you do what they did, what their video was about, or what their lighting setup was, make tweaks. Spend an hour, just tweak. You don't even have to take the photos the whole time, but if you just look at your phone and, watch how the light's falling, or if you're using a flash, just take a couple, move a light, take a couple, and just be jotting down like what happened, what changed when you made those micro adjustments to that light. Catch my drift? All right. So that is kind of how I made those emo portraits, and that is why you should be doing self-portraits. And if you have a constant light, it'll help you learn. Really will. All right. See you.